I'm Irma, sitting in the luxurious riverside office, sipping my morning coffee. I'm looking out at the bustling city below. The sunlight filters through the floor to ceiling windows, casting a warm glow over my new workspace. It's been 3 months since I left my old job, and so much has changed. It all started when I was called into the office of the HR manager, Ethan. The atmosphere was tense, and his words hung in the air like a dark cloud. "We're moving in a different direction," he said, his eyes fixed above my head. "The leadership team believes that fresh perspectives will benefit the division." I stared at him in disbelief. 18 years of loyalty, countless late nights, and all the relationships I'd built. Suddenly, it seemed worthless. I asked who was taking over my position. "Luna Reed," he replied. "She joined our market research department last month." I was flabbergasted. A 26-year-old who'd been with the company for just a few weeks? Ethan tried to justify it, saying she had an excellent educational background and innovative ideas that aligned with the new strategic vision. I let out a bitter laugh. I'd built this division from the ground up, and our client retention rate was an impressive 98%. What on earth needed innovation? I was then informed that I was being transitioned to a senior advisor. They said they valued my institutional knowledge, but those words tasted like acid in my mouth. It was a slap in the face after all I'd done for the company. I'd missed so many important moments with my daughter, Lily, to keep this place running. The next day, I watched Luna settle into my old office. Her manicured hands ran along the desk as she arranged her things: a trendy succulent, a framed diploma from a top-tier business school, and a motivational poster. My new workspace was a tiny corner with a view of the building's ventilation system, a far cry from the river view I used to have. And the nameplate on my door had already been changed from division director to senior advisor before I even arrived. At the team meeting, Luna stood at the head of the table, my spot. Her youth was painfully obvious in her nervous demeanor. She greeted the team with an overly bright and eager voice, saying she was excited to lead and had ideas for restructuring our approach. As she stumbled through client names, I couldn't help but correct her when she mispronounced one of our key clients. Her smile tightened, and she quickly apologized. Just then, my phone vibrated. It was a message from Luca Rossi, the heir to the Rossi business empire and my main contact for our largest client. The first meeting was confirmed for Tuesday at 8 a.m. at our usual place, and he was curious about the recent changes. I slipped my phone back into my pocket, allowing myself a small smile. I knew Luna was in over her head. Jamie from finance interrupted Luna's presentation, pointing out that her proposed timeline conflicted with the Rossi quarterly review. Anna from analytics added that we always blocked 6 weeks for this review, and it had been that way for 7 years. Luna was clearly flustered as she shuffled through her notes, finding nothing. This was just the beginning of her troubles. I had started my career at the company as a research assistant. Through sheer determination and strategic thinking, I'd climbed the ranks to become the division director. I knew every client by name, remembered their family events, and solved countless problems before they became disasters. Lily had grown up watching me work long hours, missing her school plays and family vacations. I always promised it would be, just until this project wraps up, but the projects never seemed to end. The signs of my impending removal had been subtle at first. The CEO, Victor, started bringing Luna to executive lunches without any explanation. My meeting invitations began to disappear from my calendar, and IT claimed it was a technical glitch. Projects I'd nurtured were suddenly reassigned for a fresh perspective. I should have seen it coming. Victor had been pushing the company towards a younger image, saying that digital natives understood today's market. He ignored the fact that our digital analytics platform was my initiative. After that first humiliating meeting, Luna summoned me to my former office. She'd replaced my awards with her framed diplomas. She was panicking, saying the Rossi account had requested a strategic presentation for the next week. I calmly explained that the Rossis valued tradition and would expect our standard quarterly review format. But she wanted to show them her new approach, pulling up a flashy slide deck full of animated transitions and industry jargon. I could see 6 critical errors that would offend our conservative Italian clients. I told her it was innovative, but she could tell I wasn't impressed. She made it clear that Victor had hired her to modernize things and that I was obsolete. That night at home, I sat at the kitchen table, my laptop open and a glass of wine untouched. Lily found me there at midnight. "Mom, are you okay?" she asked, her face full of concern. I told her they'd replaced me with someone younger. She was furious, saying it was insane since I'd built the place. She said I was too established, which really meant I was too expensive and too smart for some insecure CEO. She asked me what my plan was. I looked at the notebook where I'd started jotting down ideas and said I was working on it. She reminded me that I was the queen of contingencies and that I should never let anyone take what was mine without a fight. The next morning, I went to work early. I was sitting at my small corner desk, organizing files when Luna walked in, looking stressed. She barely glanced at me as she rushed into her office and made a frantic phone call. At 8:15 a.m., my phone lit up with a message from Jamie. There was an emergency meeting because the Rossi account was threatening to pull out after receiving Luna's new proposal. 3 minutes later, Victor appeared, demanding the Rossi file. I pretended not to notice as the crisis unfolded. At 8:30 a.m., Victor came to my desk. He put on his business smile and said they needed my expertise. I asked innocently if there was a misunderstanding with our oldest client. He said Luna had tried to introduce some updates to the service package, and there had been pushback. He asked me to join the emergency meeting since I knew Luca better than anyone. I agreed, gathering my notebook. The conference room was tense when I entered. Luna was pale, and Victor was sitting next to her. The speakerphone connected us to Luca in Milan. When Victor announced my presence, Luca's voice immediately warmed. We exchanged pleasantries in Italian, and I smoothly navigated the conversation, explaining the miscommunication and assuring him that his preferred approach would remain unchanged. By the end of the call, Luca was laughing and saying he trusted me because I understood the value of relationships and history. After the call, Victor thanked me for my excellent work and said that's why they valued me as an advisor. As I walked out, I could feel Luna's angry glare on my back. Little did she know, I'd been planning for this situation for years. In this industry, relationships matter more than job titles. Over the next week, a pattern emerged. Luna would announce a major change to our processes, clients would resist, and I'd be called in to advise. Each time, I appeared helpful but neutral. In reality, I was watching her every move, cataloging her mistakes, and keeping detailed notes on all client interactions. 2 weeks after my demotion, Luna called me into her office. She'd removed my awards shelf and replaced it with a meditation corner. She needed the background on the Thompson account because they were refusing to work with anyone but me. I told her that Mrs. Thompson's daughter had a chronic illness, and she scheduled all meetings around her daughter's treatment. She preferred data presented in a simple, straightforward way and valued honesty above all else. Luna scribbled down notes and accused me of keeping information to myself to make myself indispensable. I calmly explained that I'd built relationships the way the business required, and the information was available to anyone who asked. She then asked me to write down everything I knew about every client. I agreed, but I only gave her the general information, omitting the deeper personal connections. That afternoon, at the monthly progress meeting, Luna presented her vision for standardizing our processes. Jamie from finance raised concerns about undermining the personalized service our clients expected. Luna insisted that personalization could be systematized. I watched as my team exchanged skeptical glances. They knew our clients valued the human touch, something no database could replicate. After the meeting, Anna from Analytics whispered to me that it was going to be a disaster. The Kowalski Group had specifically chosen us because we didn't treat them like a transaction. I told her change could be challenging, but she thought I was just watching Luna dismantle what I'd built. She suspected I was planning something, and I just smiled, saying I was adapting to my new role. As time went on, the cracks in Luna's leadership became more apparent. Client complaints doubled, and 3 smaller accounts announced they were exploring other options. Team morale plummeted as she implemented rigid reporting structures that increased everyone's workload. Victor started visiting our department more often, his forced smile getting thinner. One day in the break room, Jamie cornered me. He said Ferguson Hotels, $1 million account, was threatening to leave. He also mentioned that some team members were updating their resumes and Anna had an interview. Losing Anna would be a huge blow. He asked me to do something, but I told him plans take time. Just then, Luna appeared and called me into her office. She was in a panic because the quarterly numbers were due the next day, and she couldn't make sense of the reporting structure. She accused my team of sabotaging her, but I told her the numbers were an accurate reflection of what was happening. 3 clients had reduced their service packages, and Ferguson Hotels might not renew. I said the clients were reacting to the changes in our approach, and the personal touch was important in our industry. She insisted that the personal touch was holding us back and that Victor agreed with her. She then asked me to take over the quarterly report and show her how to present the numbers without getting fired. This was the leverage point I'd been waiting for. I said I'd need access to all the client files and for Anna to assist me. She reluctantly agreed. That night, I worked late in the office. With my restored access, I compiled a comprehensive analysis of the division's performance before and after Luna's arrival. The numbers were stark, showing a rapid decline in client satisfaction, new business acquisition, and team productivity. Anna joined me around midnight. She couldn't understand why I wasn't angry. I told her I was responding strategically. She realized I was letting Luna fail spectacularly in front of the executive team. We worked through the night to create a presentation that was accurate, well-designed, and devastatingly clear. As dawn broke, Anna said it would either get me my job back or get me fired. I sent the file to Luna, knowing that this was just one move in a much larger strategy. The quarterly presentation went exactly as I'd anticipated. Luna stood before the executive team, clicking through the slides. Each graph told the story of a division in decline. Jerome's face turned from mild concern to barely contained fury. He demanded to know her plan to reverse the situation. Luna was desperate and turned to me for help. Victoria from the executive board suggested I share my insights. I explained that our key clients valued consistency and personal connection, and rapid changes were unsettling for them. Jerome asked if I could salvage the Ferguson account. I said it was possible, since I had a strong relationship with Damian Ferguson. He told me to reach out immediately and review all at-risk accounts. He also said they'd discuss Luna's role after the crisis was contained. After the meeting, Luna cornered me in the hallway, accusing me of setting her up. I calmly told her the presentation showed accurate data. She said this wasn't over, but I knew the power dynamics were shifting. I called Damian Ferguson, and he was frustrated about the changes. He agreed to meet me for lunch the next day. Victor was relieved when I told him the news and hinted that they might have been hasty in restructuring my role. Over the next week, I met with each client, soothing their concerns and rebuilding confidence. Luna became increasingly marginalized while I took charge of client relations. 17 days after the quarterly presentation, Victor called me into his office. Luna and Victoria were also there. They said the board had evaluated the organizational structure and wanted to reinstate me as the division director, with Luna transitioning to a supporting role. I declined the offer, saying my trust in the company's leadership had been irreparably damaged. I pulled out my formal resignation and announced that I'd established my own consulting firm. I also told them that Anna and Jamie had accepted positions with my new firm. 3 months later, my firm is thriving. We're located on the top floor of a riverside building, with 12 former teammates bringing their expertise and client relationships. Our client roster includes 7 major accounts from my old company and 11 new ones. Luna was let go, and Victor has been forced to take a more active role in division management. Sitting here with Luca at our usual breakfast spot, he raises his espresso in a toast. To brilliant strategy, he says. I tell him I started planning my exit when I noticed Victor bringing Luna to executive meetings 3 months before my demotion. I let the situation play out, allowing natural consequences to unfold. The best revenge isn't about making someone fail. It's about creating your own success from their mistakes. Just then, my phone buzzes with a message from Lily. Ferguson has signed a 3-year contract. I smile and confirm our celebration dinner. The view from this side of the river is indeed much better. Sometimes, the best revenge is creating success on our own terms.